Apologize for the meeting getting started late. We were having technical difficulties here at the city. So,
Mr. Brown, are you here?
I'm on the phone. I wasn't able to get it. It wasn't on Zoom. It was on GoToMeeting, and I wasn't able to get the app to work.
Oh,
okay.
Mr. Brown, I think you're going to be the chairman tonight, as Bob is not available. And we only have 4 people tonight.
Okay, I have a question though. Is there a way I can see the screen even though I can't get on?
Do you have cable television?
I do.
You can City 7.
Not here.
Comcast. Oh, okay. The laptop you can also get if you can get on the city's website, and City 7 is broadcast on our regular website, and you can actually watch what we're seeing right now as well on the website on City 7.
Is everybody else on the screen with GoToMeeting?
Yeah, just do it again. Check in again. Shut it off and do it again.
Let me try that.
Where's her?
What? I don't have an agenda.
Okay, I have, it says join your meeting using the GoToMeeting app, and then it says download the app. So I'll do that real quick. And then I'll go to my downloads and see if I can get it to come up. Otherwise, I'll have to get on the website. I thought you were going to be doing Zoom. I apologize. I should have checked this earlier.
Okay, is my applicant here, James?
Yes, I am here. Sorry if you hear background music. I was trying to find somewhere with Wi-Fi, and I'm sitting in a price chopper currently.
Okay. And Lee Mendenhall? There you are. Okay. Well, on our end, we're ready to begin when you are. Is Roy on?
I'm looking through my downloads, and I don't see that the app was downloaded. So let me just go to the website, and I'll watch.
Go to City 7. You'll be able to see this on City 7 on the city website.
Mr. Brown, did you get the email that I sent you? You should be able to get to it right through that.
I clicked on it, and it says to download the app, and I.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't think you need to download the app though.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they're trying to sell you the app or get you to subscribe or to get your contact information. I think you can bypass that and just and get on.
I'll click on that link again, and it comes up. It says starting GoToMeeting. Then it tries to say this download the app again. So
it's got to run through the app if you have it. Like if you go to your app store and you can download.
I'm on my computer, not on my phone. I mean, I'm on my phone, but I'm on my computer. I have my camera set up. All right, so.
If you just, I had the same problem. If you just say GoToMeeting, you'll get there.
Okay, what's on my screen is join your meeting using the GoTo app. That doesn't let me get out of that.
No, just say join the meeting. That should do it.
It doesn't give me that option. All right.
Well, you can stay on the phone and you can watch this on City 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it up online here, and so let me do that.
Just make sure you turn the volume off on City 7 because I don't think they'll sync.
Okay, so I go to yes / okay. Okay, says
Just make sure you have this volume turned off on City 7 because you're going to have echo and everything if you're talking on the phone.
so I clicked on okay, I'll just directly because when I go through my browser it doesn't. So in depth.
You have his email, Brian. You can send him the link there. It's that HTTP www.ci.independence.mo.us/city7/live video.
Okay. So, yeah, can you do that? And I'll just click on that link because it said secure connection failed when I did this.
I just did it too, and it says it's not a secure site for some reason, but if you just bypass that, I was able to get it.
So have you sent that link? I could just run to my house and go get on the it's right next door. I could run over to the house and turn on the TV. Is that the best thing?
Do you have Comcast?
Yeah.
What's
I
your
just don't
email?
It's on Comcast on City 7.
Okay, it'd be better if I could get this here.
You should be able to get City 7 on your laptop.
Well, okay. I'm on my
On your desktop. I mean,
my main desktop computer at the office where I have Zoom and that's what I normally do for Rotary and other things. So
I've got the link pasted into an email. If you want to tell me your email address, I'll send it to you right now.
All right. It's I'm going to go to the other. It's Roy at. I'll give you the other one. It's Creator, CREATOR, and then my initials REB, which spells Reb, at gmail.com. Let's go with that one. That's quicker.
So it's
I'm now going up.
from Alec it's coming from Alec at smartsighting.com, and the subject says link.
Okay.
I just sent it.
All right.
And now that I know where this is, I plan on watching all kinds of live video here on City 7. I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Just thank you.
I'm on. Okay,
Okay.
see,
You can see video.
I can see video.
You can see case number 21-99901.
I can.
Okay. Why don't you start our meeting?
All right.
Okay.
Now, you know that I don't have that sheet that you normally read when you start a meeting.
Okay, do you remember the swearing in part?
Well, I can do that.
Okay, well, we'll just start the meeting now. Just open it like,
All
welcome to
right.
the, that
All right.
stuff, and then we'll do the swearing in, and then we'll start.
Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Board of Adjustment meeting. If you plan on speaking in any way before this board, would you please, I guess you don't need to stand, would you please raise your right hand? And do you promise that anything that you say will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Say I do.
I do.
Okay. Is that good enough? All right.
Okay,
So
yes.
let's start with case number 21-999-01.
Yes. Okay.
Is the applicant here? You can put your hand.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, had you muted. Just keep the music from the background off.
Okay, let
Okay.
me do my presentation first, and then we'll
All right.
give it over to the applicant. This case is request for a variance for the applicant who intends to build a new accessory building where a previous garage had stood. However, having demolished the garage and pouring a foundation for its replacement, a building permit for the new structure had been denied by zoning. The proposed building would have set on a lot adjacent to his house, for his property consists of 2 lots. For decades, the lots have been used as one property and were sold to him that way, but they are in fact 2 lots. So he has sufficient setback with that real property line that runs between the foundation and the house. So he's not going to have a setback problem, but he does have a problem of building an accessory building on a property with no other building on that property, even though functionally it's the same property. So we'll go through the pictures here.
Okay.
So here's the property. As you can see, it's a double lot, and it's at that T intersection there. You can see the driveway runs up the property line. The new foundation is roughly where the old garage is, and the house is where the number is, okay? So there's the garage, there's the house, essentially about the same size. The garage isn't going to be any closer to the street than the house. He has sufficient setbacks if it was one lot, and then he has a sufficient setback on the side with the existing line that runs down that existing driveway. In addition, he's going to have to build a new paved driveway that flanks off the grandfathered gravel driveway there, as you can see. And so here is the building details. And so you can see here you can already see the foundation. See where the lawnmower and the car is? That's the foundation for the garage. And then there's the existing house that's off to the left. Okay. And this is looking westward up the street. And this is looking directly the opposite direction down the T intersection to the south. And then looking at the neighbor to the east. And this is a close-up of that paved surface that's already been poured and is already in existence. So that's my presentation. Ready to take any questions you may have. And
Will the applicant please explain his reasoning behind why he wants this variance? First of all, would you give your name and your address?
Sorry, did you say ask for my name and my address?
Give me your name and your address for the record.
Okay, it's James Gearhart at 1024 East Lexington Avenue.
Okay, thank you. And would you explain your reasons why you feel like we should grant you this variance?
Well, I'm really just trying to make the neighborhood a better place. As you can tell in that area, I'm sure you guys are aware, it's like not a good neighborhood. I bought that house a few years ago. I'm still kind of young. I didn't know what I was getting into. I bought a house and I've been remodeling it and working on it myself forever. And it's kind of hard keeping on. I got a lot of my tools are outside now in the yard since I don't have nowhere to store them. I don't have nowhere to store all my extra lumber and stuff. And I'm constantly, all I do is I love working on vehicles. It's like my main hobby. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me busy. And I mean, I help all my neighbors out. I know they've all approved of it, and I'm nice with all of them. They've got no reason to not want my garage up. And I know they all want my yard clean as much as I want my yard clean. And I know it's going to help get all the junk out of my yard to be able to put it in there. The old garage I had before was super small and run down, kind of like the house was, and it kind of just is ready to go over. But yeah, that's gone, and I've got a professional builder that's building the building, like a big time company that's doing it. So there's no funny business around it.
Do any of the other board members have questions of the applicant? Brian, did you have any calls on this?
no, I did not. I just wanted to mention that of the 6 criteria, I had 3 no's and 3 yeses. So you might want to deal with that. Hello?
Yes.
I'm curious if the applicant has explored replatting to combine the 2 lots into 1 lot so that he can meet the criteria then.
Mr. Gerhard, did you explore that?
Sorry, what was that? Can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry, this music.
Did you explore the possibility of combining the lots into 1 so that you didn't have this issue?
Oh, yeah, I did. To be honest, I did. And I called around. After speaking with some people up there at the building, after talking back and forth, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit less of a price to do the surveying. I was told it would be like maybe around $1,000 or something. And I called multiple places that do the surveying. And not only were they like at least like 2 months out on being able to do the survey, I got quoted at like $2,500, $4,000 at one thing and another at something. And to be honest, that was just like my wallet doesn't match all these numbers. That, like, I wasn't ready for all this. I didn't expect the concrete price, and then the rebar and the gravel, and then the building itself, and then it was just too much for me to. I don't have anybody around me that has done this kind of stuff before, so I just got into it not knowing. But I mean, the garage is in the same spot. The old one where the old garage was, the new garage is in the same exact spot where that one was. It's just a little bit bigger but it starts off in the same back corner.
Another thing I just will mention is, assuming this was combined, that would not eliminate the need to go to the Board of Adjustment. He still would have had to have gone to you, but for another reason. With the combined lots, the square footage as a percentage of the backyard would have been too big, because it would now have a backyard because of the house, or too small. And you would have it would have exceeded 15%, and you would have had to have a variance anyway. So just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing Brian was telling me, is I was completely unaware of my house is in the backyard itself. And then I was told about having the garage in the back, I think 15% or something like that. Well, that's where my house is at, and I needed the garage next to my house. I didn't want to try putting the garage in front of my house or doing some weird stuff that looked unusual or didn't sit right.
So there would have been a backyard issue does exist when it's two separate lots. But once you join it, then that would get rid of the one variance issue that he's coming here for having an accessory building on a lot without a house. You solve that by combining the two lots, but then you create a new variance that you have to do because of the percentage of the backyard. So either way, you would have to come to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are the future problems? Hold on 1 second.
What is it? I mean, theoretical problem could be that this garage lot could get sold separately, and we'd have somebody who'd have some storage facility for themselves in the neighborhood where they don't live.
True.
Or any legal business, possibly. So that's the danger.
I do understand that's a possibility, but yeah, I know my word isn't much, but I would never do that in a million years. But I do understand that would be on your guys' situation a possibility, but it would never happen.
You understand we have a problem because we have to justify these criteria, and we can't. Something could happen to you, and the property could be sold, and we would have some issues. Is there a time frame on this? Are you willing to? You have the option of continuing this until some other options could be explored, possibly. I'm a little concerned about the setback of 8 feet for a new structure. What is this rear yard setback there, Brian?
Well, I mean, the rear yard setback is not a problem theoretically, even with the combined lot, because an accessory building only needs to be 5 feet. The issue is the coverage. The building is too big in relation to the backyard because our code says it can only be 15%. And since his backyard is so tiny and non-existent, then the formula doesn't work. The setback itself is actually adequate for an accessory building setback from a back property line. You only need 5 feet. Does that make sense?
No, that's true. The question is whether we could move the garage forward a little to provide a little bit more backyard.
You could do that, but I don't know how we advertise.
I
If,
I just
if
spent
the
like
pad, part of it is the pad's already poured. And it's where it is.
Okay.
it's all done according to the schematics and everything. Like I spent almost $10,000 doing just the pad.
Well, as a board, we always like to look at each individual case. That's our job, and our job is not to cause you problems and financial problems. I'm wondering if there's some way that we can get a document. Brian, is there some way we can get a document in writing from him that he or combine these in some way that he will eventually get them combined when he can get a surveyor with a decent price that he could afford in the future? Is there some way we can do that?
Hold on one second.
Lots as part of the approval of this application. That's beyond the board's purview for something like this. Directly to the
I would have never thought of selling the old garage, and it's like I was saying, it's in the exact same spot as where the new one is.
So let's look at these, the criteria. The first one that we have to address is that the requested variance arises from conditions which are unique to the subject property. If this garage is replacing where the existing garage was, perhaps that would be, we could change that from a no, because it wasn't necessarily the result of the owner's intentional actions. Is it possible that the noise could be removed so that we could hear?
Thank you.
Okay.
I do think that part of the issue is, though, that the garage and the pad were poured before a building permit was pulled, correct?
Yes. And that in fact wasn't, it wasn't illegal to do that. You can pour a slab, but he did this on the assumption he'd be able to do something that he wasn't going to be able to do.
I was new. I was new to the stuff and unaware. And then people started telling me I should get a permit, and then I thought I'd go up there. I've only got a permit for electricity, I think, and before, and maybe like a roofing permit or something, but I didn't know much. I thought I was just going to be able to buy my building. I've already signed the contract and all that, and then thought I was going to go up there and then pay the $300 or $400 for a permit, and then I thought it was going to be like a next day thing, and then after that happened, I've been working back and forth with Brian and the other people up there since January now, trying to get this all squared away, and I've been trying to do everything by the books. Been trying to do everything, but the pad it's set right there. Like, I've spent my budget, sadly.
Did you allow for footings, or when you did the slab?
Yeah, I have pictures and everything, and it's done according to the schematics that you guys had me and the engineered plans that you guys told me about, I contacted the company and they printed them off. And I think I gave you guys the copies of them as well, but it's done according to the schematics.
Well, they're not in our packet.
He's talking about what the engineers required of him.
For the concrete.
Yeah, prior to doing a building permit for a building. And he followed their instructions.
I worked on it for about 20 hours straight without sleep. And I shoveled 20 yards of gravel by hand by myself, which was not a smart move.
Well, we only have 4 members of the board, correct? And so that means that we have to have 100% agreement for this to pass. This is a very difficult situation because we're the first time I've ever been on a situation like this as a chairman or acting chairman, not being in the space that we used to and being able to communicate. And we have new people here that I don't even have a list of all of the new people. Are you willing to maybe continue this so we have some opportunities to get agreement?
Mr. Brown, what direction do you want him to go? What are you looking for from the applicant?
Yeah, there's not much more, sorry, for me on my end that I can.
Well, all right. I personally think that this is a difficult situation. I would be willing to approve this if we can kind of go through these criteria. You're saying that this does constitute a practical difficulty for you. So, particularly because you've already built a slab at a great expense to you. So that's number 3. I'm just wondering if I get some input from the other members of the board. Perhaps we should close the public meeting and just start communicating with each other as board members.
Mr. Brown, you need to make sure there's no one else to speak in favor or against this.
Yeah, make sure you don't have anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody that is in favor of this that would like to add their comments to that of the applicant?
Yeah, we have somebody.
Mr. Gearhart, could you mute yourself, please?
Sorry.
My name's Joe Weir, 3313 Blue Ridge Boulevard, Independence. I'm either yay or nay on this, but what I'd like to know for sure is the side yard requirement. Is that 5 feet? And then to make sure that there is going to be a concrete pour to the building.
It is 5 feet, Mr. Weir. And he has, with the existing property line down the middle, he has about 6 feet from what I can tell.
On the side lot?
Yeah.
Well,
on the west side.
Yeah, this building.
I have more.
This piece of property was very dilapidated and run down, and this gentleman is trying to bring it back in kind of a roundabout way. He should have been focused it more on the house than this building. The building was in a complete disrepair, but this would be an improvement for the property. But he should be focusing on the house.
I've been focusing on this house for years. Like the inside, if you've seen the inside of it, it's been flipped. Like I work on this so much. I put a new water line in myself. Just like a month or two ago, I dug the whole trench. I spent days digging the trench. I put a whole new 120-foot copper line. I buried it. I put in a new 200. I learned how to do electricity. I put my own 200 amp service in. I wired up everything, and then I got a licensed electrician because I found out I had to get a permit. A licensed electrician had to pull the permit. Like I've done a ton of stuff. It was extremely run down, and I only have 10 fingers.
Yeah, it was very bad, and you are improving it. I don't have that much of a problem with it.
Okay.
If he does like what you require.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak against this variance? Okay. Any other questions from the board of the applicant?
Can you please pass me? No, I really don't have any questions. I just wanted to get through this. This is probably the biggest day of my year.
I'm asking if there's any board members that have any questions of you.
Oh, for me, sorry.
Okay. Let's just close the public meeting then. And Brian, do you have a list of the board members that are here? Because I don't have that. I have the
Yeah, Mr. Brown, after we get a motion and a second, Brian we'll call the roll instead of you.
Oh, you call the roll? Okay, thank you.
In this case, yes.
Okay. So I personally, this is a difficult decision, but we've had to make calls like this before because there are my opinion, because there are no problems with the neighbor, even though that there are some issues. And he has, from his testimony, stated that he's not going to sell the garage separately. And if I would wonder if anybody else has any comments. I think we could probably pass this because he didn't deliberately create a unique condition, and he is following where there was a previous garage. So I hear some other comments from the board members.
Roy, this is John Davies. I think we ought to pass this thing.
Okay. Anybody else?
This is Aaron Crossley. I have no comment.
Okay. Does anybody wish to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we pass. Where's the thing? Case number 21999-01.
Is there a second?
Who made the motion?
Who made the
Excuse me?
motion?
John Davies.
Okay.
This is Aaron Crossley. I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, Brian, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Crossley?
Yes.
Commissioner Lehman?
Mr. Lehman? Mr. Lehman?
Commissioner Davies?
Yes.
Okay. What was he?
Chairman Brown, but Acting Chairman Brown.
Acting Chairman Brown?
Yes.
Okay. Is Lehman there at all?
Mr. Lehman?
Was he on earlier?
Never heard him.
All right, as we don't have a quorum here, we're gonna have to continue this case, all these cases to the April meeting.
We have to have 4 members.
I thought he was on the call. I mean, I talked to him twice this week on this case.
Ryan, is there a way to call him in case he wasn't able to get on?
Yeah, we can attempt that and we can come back to this briefly, I suppose.
Well, we're not going to be able to hear the other cases, I suppose, if we don't have any a full quorum.
Yeah, we can't go, we'll need to hold on for a second. What time is it?
Can we roll a 5-minute recess?
Yeah, let's call a 5-minute recess.
Good.
Gerhard, could you turn off your thing again? We're hearing all that noise from wherever you're at.
Please mute your mic. Thank you.
Lehman, can you hear us? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you can hear us on the phone.
Camera now.
Okay, we're on.
Okay,
Here he is.
so Mr. Lehman,
Can
did
you hear
you
me?
read over this? Mr. Lehman, did you
Can you
read
hear
over
me?
this application?
Yes, I did.
So you're aware of what the request is about?
Okay, let me get it out here because
Can you hear him?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. He can hear you too.
okay, James Gerhardt.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who that is.
we're gonna have them.
Okay.
How far we voted? We voted 3.
Yeah.
We won't vote. Mr. Lehman, the board has already discussed this matter with the applicant, and actually they've already voted. We were not aware that you were not on the line. The board has voted 3-0 in favor to this point.
And I will vote also in favor.
Okay, all right. Well, that approves this case then.
Already.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I got on finally. So case number 21.
Okay, we're going to move on to case number 2.
Yeah, has been approved. So let's move on to case number 2. All right, case number 2, Legacy Executive Homes. Brian, can we have your information?
Well, this is Stuart, but I can go ahead. Mr. Liebig of Legacy Executive Home seeks to build a garage out there at the Hake residence. The garage is proposed to be basically on the east property line, which is along the street of Ralston. And we'll get to the site plan in just a second. You can see this is the
Am I good? Sorry.
yeah, Mr. Gerhardt, you can leave the meeting now.
Okay, I'm good. I'm passed. I'm good.
Yes, you got approved. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. All right. Here we're looking at the vicinity map. You can see it's right at the northwest corner of Ralston and 26th Terrace. This is the aerial photograph of the site. The property is in the blue circle. You can see the house that's on the south part of the property and faces south. Where they seek to build the garage is the little shed that's shown up here in this location is going to be removed. And then the garage will be up here in this general area, 5 feet from the north property line. Okay, and then this is the plot plan. Again, the house faces south, which is 26th Terrace. The garage is on the east property line. The code requires that the house meet the minimum setback of the primary residence, which in this case would be 25 feet, because that's what the setback is now for the house. And we'll go through and you'll see some of the pictures of the neighborhood. First, this is the applicant's house. This is the front of the house. We're looking to the northwest. The applicant's out, the 26th terrace goes off to your left, and then Ralston goes off to the right. Here we're looking north along Ralston. That is the applicant's house there on the left, and that's the fence line where the garage will be constructed down there on the north end. Here's another picture. It shows the location of where the garage basically will be even with that fence line, 5 feet south of that northern fence line there where it stops. And this is another picture of the, again, the applicant's house is there on the left, and that's the fence line is along the east property line. So you go down 5 feet from that corner, and then that's where the garage will be positioned. It's sought to be positioned by the applicant. Okay, this is the house that's directly north of the property. That pole that you see there is the same pole that you saw in the last slide. The back of their house faces the back of the applicant site. This section of Ralston has no curb and gutter. It's just all ditch section. And this is the house that's directly across Ralston to the east. They have a similar fence to what the applicant has. This is pretty typical for the neighborhood, this type of home about this size. Again, the applicant seeks to a variance of 25 feet because the code requirement is the same required setback as the house, which in this case is 25 feet. And I did not receive any phone calls about this application.
Okay, thank you. Applicant, would you please state your name and your address?
My name is Mark Liebig with Legacy Executive Homes. Our address is 1828 Northeast Woodview Lane, Lee Summit, Missouri, 64086.
Thank you. And would you explain your reasoning for this variance?
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Hake have asked us to construct a wood frame 24 by 24 garage for them, 2-car garage, facing that side street. Obviously, when the house was built, the 25-foot setback was not in place, my understanding, and please city staff correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, that setback was put in place just a few years back. You can see from the photos that the side of the house certainly isn't 25 feet from that side line of the property there. It only sits actually about 6.5 feet from the actual property line. The Hakes would like to get this variance. Obviously, if we went 25 feet from the property line, that would put the garage near the other side of the backyard. You're basically taking out a good portion of that backyard, mainly in driveway, to get back to the actual garage. They're also somewhat concerned about having a setback like that and the privacy fence. If you set the garage back, well, any at all, you're going to basically, by way of putting up that privacy fence back, because they want to keep that privacy fence attached to the garage, basically, you're going to create an alcove there that they're a little concerned from a safety perspective that that's going to give an area where people can come off the street and do something that maybe they ought not be doing in the area and not really be seen from the street and so on. So they have some concerns about that. If there's some leeway here, that obviously in a perfect world, they would truly like to have the front of the garage even with the fence, so that aesthetically it would just go right down the line along with the fence. It would alleviate any safety concerns. But worst case scenario, if we had to back it up a little bit more in line with the house, that could be acceptable as well. But putting it all the way back to the 25-foot mark is going to be somewhat difficult, going to cause just more issues than really it benefits. There's some other garages in the area that have been added over the years that are certainly not the 25-foot setback as well. So we're just looking for some similar allowances when we go to put this one in.
How far is the proposed front of the garage from the edge of Ralston Avenue?
I believe it's about 13 feet.
And I don't understand why you couldn't turn the fence and pull the garage back enough so that you have more room to pull off of Ralston Avenue and get into the front of the garage. Because I'm a little bit concerned about that. A car, if they pull in and the door isn't open, the car's going to be sticking up out into the street, and that'd be a safety concern, in my opinion. So I don't understand their concern about not wanting to turn the fence to meet the garage and pulling it back into the property a bit.
Well, their biggest concern with that, and really it's going to depend on the depth at which we would have to go back. Anytime you set that back, you're just kind of creating that pocket there that's out of sight, if you will, from the street, and they just have some safety concerns about that. I understand your concerns about the length of that in a vehicle. Again, if we had to back it up, if we could at least get a variance to where the side of the house is now, there's 6.5 feet approximately between the fence and the house. So that would give you about 20 feet then from the front of the garage to the street if you set it back even with the house.
Thank you. Brian, were there any questions or any calls, I should say?
This is Stuart, and no, there were not.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members of the applicant?
This is Becky Hake, the owner.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure you can hear me. Okay, actually, I just had to say, as far as the parking of the car there, I mean, that's really not going to be an issue. We have a collectible car, which is the main issue that we're wanting to get a place to park instead of storing it. As far back from a front door as that is, that would be a garage that would be used to pull in, pull out, and that would basically be it, not park any vehicle on the street. We're trying to do the best we can to make it look like it belongs with the house, as far as the house, the roof pitch going the same way, the same color. We're even re-roofing our house to match the garage so everything matches up. I don't see that Stuart put that in. He was out here Monday taking pictures, and there's a house at 26th or 25th Terrace in Ralston, and their garage faces 25th Terrace, but their house is 13 feet from the street also. So it's not like it would stick out from the neighborhood or look any different, because there is one in sight from our house, but would have the same, I guess you'd say, distance from the street to the garage.
Or applicant, can we get your name and address for the record, please?
Becky Hake, 10516 East 26th Terrace.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board members of the owner or the applicant? I personally have an issue with it being just 13 feet away, and going from a 25-foot setback to what she's asking for is quite a bit. I personally would like to see at least in line with the house, or a little bit more. Personally, I'd like to see 20 feet from the edge of the road to the garage, just because of potential safety issues. With if she's not there, somebody else might be there, and they pull up and the garage doesn't open and the car's sticking out on the road. I don't have a comfort level with that.
If the board will remember, on the bottom of the staff report, I did mention that if the board did feel there was a hardship exist here, staff recommends that garage be set back at least 10 feet from the east property line.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Is there anybody that wishes to speak in favor of this variance? It hasn't not yet spoken.
Sir, this is Mark Liebig again. If I could just make one more comment.
Go right ahead.
If we got a variance to where the side of the house is, that would give you just right about 20 feet. I want to say it's about 19.5 to 20 from the street to the edge of the house. So it isn't the 10 foot that city staff is recommending, but it would give you the 20 feet that sounds like you'd be comfortable with. So just throwing that out as a compromise to try to keep things in the right realm for everybody.
Well, this is Becky again. Well, actually, if we kept it even with the house, it would aesthetically look better. At least it's a straight line of something. We were thinking you'd line up with the fence, it would be all in row, but if it lines up in the house, it would be all in row also, because you don't have all these different variants on one property.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak in opposition to this? Okay, hearing none. Any more comments that the applicant or the owner would like to make before we close the public hearing? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing. Any comments? John?
Let me unmute myself here. No, looking at the pictures, I don't think there's a problem in granting a variance. I like the 10 feet setback.
Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, that's my feeling too. I think variance, in my opinion, can be granted with the 10-foot setback. I feel comfortable with that as well.
Okay. I also feel the same. I just don't have a good feeling about being that close. I realize there may be other houses that are that close, but 10 feet would give you 23 feet, which is room for a car to get completely off the road and somebody to get in front of the car and open the garage door. And I think that's a reasonable suggestion that the staff made. Let's see. We need to look at a couple of the criteria. Number one, the requested variance arises from conditions which are unique to the subject property that are not ordinarily found in the same zoning district. Anybody have an answer for that? I think the testimony was that there was another house that was actually, the garage was even closer. So I think we could probably answer that one with that testimony. You guys agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
And then the one that we always have, which is the alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property. Well, yes, the landowner seeks to construct a garage, but that's a reasonable request. Whether that person created it or not, maybe you could say that the garage should have been built there before the owner bought the house, and we could answer that criteria that way. So, any other comments? Okay, anybody wish to make a motion?
This is Aaron Crossley, and I move that we pass case 21-99902 under the condition that the setback is 10 feet from the eastern property line.
Do I hear a second?
John Davies will second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Ready for roll call?
Yes.
Board Member Crossley?
Yes.
Board Member Lehman?
Yes.
Board Member Davies?
Yes.
And Acting Chairman Brown?
Yes.
All right.
So this is passed. So the variance is now a 15-foot variance, I guess. So let's go to the next case, which is case number 21-999-03. A variance to the minimum lot frontage standard for approximately 304 South Powell Road. Is it ready, Brian?
Hang on just a minute here. We're gonna load this up.
Okay.
You need to go to the P drive. Oh, crap.
Okay, this is an application by Brian Schultz for a variance to the lot frontage requirements from some property that is basically out on Powell Road. You can see from the vicinity map, the general location. It's the best landmark I can give you out there is it's almost directly across from the mobile home park, if you're familiar with that. It's kind of a mile or so north of Truman Road, as you can see from the vicinity map. This is an aerial photograph of the site. The blue circle shows the general location of the property they seek to create, so to speak, by this subdivision. The lot 3 actually comes in down here on the south, where you see the farmed area that comes out from Powell Road and then loops around and goes up here. That is the actual frontage on Powell Road for lot 3 that the board approved about a year and a half ago. And then the lot comes over here in a kind of a straight fashion and goes north. The applicant is buying seeks to buy the northern 6 acres of this roughly 18-acre tract. This next shows the actual subdivision boundaries. You can see how the lot is shaped. Again, you've got that piece that comes out on the Powell Road, and then it comes straight back generally, and then to the north. The applicant is buying what is shown as proposed lot 3A. The landowner will retain proposed lot 3B. And we've got some pictures. It's kind of hard to get pictures out there because, well, this is the one that shows kind of through the woods what this is. Here's another one that's a little better. Kind of shows the typical area. It's farmed. There's cropland out there, so not really a lot of trees, and it looks pretty much similar to other areas that are out there. This is kind of shows the general location, what the property looks like. And there's another one that shows again what it looks like. This is the house that's on the adjoining property that is actually addressed as 304. This is on a separate lot. They're not a party to this application. And the applicant is here along with the property owner who is selling the land, and they both have provided PowerPoints that they would like to be shown as well. If you would want me to start these, I can go through that and show those as well. Okay. Hang on. Okay, I will have to just, this is the applicant's first slide. It shows the kind of general the area. The property is not going to be called Pleasant View Minor Subdivision, but that's irrelevant in this case. If the applicant wants to go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Stuart. We just provided a presentation tonight. You'll just scroll down on that.
Yeah,
just to make it.
Could you identify yourself and give you your address as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Brian Schultz. I live at 900 West Waldo Avenue in Independence, Missouri, 64050. Is it okay to proceed?
Okay. Yeah, hang on, just let me get this this thing moved over here and.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you can go to the second slide. We just provided a presentation tonight just to make sort of clear what we're wanting to do with this property and sort of why we wanted to do that. I know this is a little more complicated than the other cases you probably will hear tonight, so hopefully this is helpful. I'm an administrator in the Independent School District as the applicant. And one of the reasons why we're looking at this property, and we've been talking to Stuart Randall Pratt about that, is because I have to live in the Independent School District. And as you guys know, there are not many developable properties with acreage in the Independent School District. And so I want to remain in the city. I want to remain continuing to work for the school district. And so this is a property that seems ideal for us as a building site. And so as applicants, I just put down on that second slide, those that would be living on this property, myself and my wife, and her parents, Howard and Patty Brock. We plan to build a single family home and live together. And live in that home together. I've lived in Independence for most of my life. I've been involved in the city. I was part of the Downtown Redevelopment Corporation, and I'm on the Jackson County Historical Society Board. My wife is a nurse with the state of Missouri. Howard works as a union electrician, and Patty is a case manager at Center Point Hospital. and they also live in Independence at this time. You go to the next one. There you go. So I just wanted to make clear, and Stuart already showed that, what lot 3A and lot 3B are. We're dividing or seeking to get your permission to divide 6 acres out of an 18-acre plot. We've already had that surveyed by KC Engineers, and they have provided that survey to the city. This 6 acres would be landlocked, which is why we're seeking a variance. If we go down to the next slide. So the variance would include us recording an access easement to the property to the north. We already have gotten that access easement and are in the process of recording that with the county, or going to be recording that with the county. The access easement will be 41 feet wide in the length of the property. That access easement sits on top of an existing utility easement that IPL has that already goes across the entire length of that property. So where you see the yellow line is where we would access the property off of Powell Road. The first leg of that, which we'll see in the next slide, is actually an access easement that will be granted by Mr. Pratt. And the second leg of that going to the west is an access easement that will be granted to us from Ted Cox, and we'll be filing that. And so this is what the first access easement looks like. It's just a jog off of Powell Road, just past the trailer park. It jogs off to the left and goes down, and that's a view of that. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see where as it turns, and this is a view back towards Powell Road. It was the best view to help you see that. There is already an existing gravel road along the perimeter of that property that the property owner to the north already uses to access his property. He would be granting us, or he's granting us access to use that access easement to use that road into the property. And down a little bit more. And so what we anticipate doing with the property is just having a single family home on that 6 acres. I sort of tried to mark approximately where we think that could fit based on visiting with our builder to make sure that the house would sit right. And at some point in the future, we could build, we might seek to build a barn or an outbuilding, but at this point, we're just seeking to build a single family home there. We'll go down one more. We just wanted to show you a picture of a home that is similar to what we've been discussing. Building on that site. It would be a ranch house with a walkout basement. We've already engaged in discussions with Pollard, Orff, and Associates as our builder. You might know that they're already building a development off of Powell Road to the south. So they're already engaged in a development down there and are well known in the city. And we'll go down another. Just wanted to address utilities and utility access that would be here for this site. We would be accessing power, electricity that is already running on poles down the length of that property. And a transformer can be dropped from those poles and be right there on our property. Fire gas and the Independence Water are both on Powell Road. They're on the other side of Powell Road. And we would have to be paying the access fees to bring those into the property. We understand that the utilities into the property would be our responsibility. There is a fire hydrant. There are not many fire hydrants in the area. The closest fire hydrant is there right at Independence Station. And if you go north for miles and south until you get to the power plant, that's really the only fire hydrant in that area. You go down one more. And I just wanted to provide, Stuart already provided pictures, but I just wanted to provide again pictures of views to the north, south, east, and west. And you can sort of scroll through those so you can sort of get a sort of a general view of what the view is from this property from those 4 directions. Clearly, the view to the east was taken at a different time. And so we just wanted to present that to you. It is our intent to keep that 6 acres, mostly pastoral land. We don't intend to do anything other than to have a home building site on that property. I believe that this kind of development is consistent with other developments in the area. Other than adding the home, we're not seeking to change the rural or the rural feel or nature of that part of the city. We understand that that's what makes that part of the city unique and beautiful. And so we feel like this request is appropriate for the area, and it's consistent with other decisions the city has made with granting variances in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Brian, were there any calls on this?
Stuart says no, there were no calls on this.
Okay. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak in favor of this?
I'd like to speak in favor. This is Randall Pratt, 214 South Spring Street, Independence, Missouri. Stuart, you want me to project from my computer?
That's okay. I think I can get this one going here if you can just tell me when to go down.
And when it comes up, Stuart, can you put it into presentation mode to make it larger? Enable editing, and then, that.
Well, I've got too much stuff on the screen here. I can't exactly move everything around. I just have a little laptop here. I don't have a computer that I can't see everybody or the things if I do that.
Yeah. Do you want me to project it from mine? I don't.
Sure, if you can do that.
You can allow me to screen share. You have to authorize me to screen share to make me the presenter.
Okay.
If you're using Miranda's account, I'm not sure if you'll be able to do that, Brian.
I think you can actually do the action he's asking about.
I'm here.
A moment ago.
Make presenter.
I don't know either on this platform. When I hover over the screen share button, which is gray, it says to share your screen, ask the organizer to make you the presenter. Oh,
okay, I think I did that.
Oh, you did it.
Why don't you try that?
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so can you see that on your screen now?
Yes.
Very good. So this is the beginning of the story. How it started is that on the eastern edge of this 30 acres, there was a red brick house that was a rental property when I bought it. And the family that does the landscaping for our office, Jeff and Cheryl Gross, wanted a place to live and they needed a place for their equipment. And so we tried to accommodate that and help them find a place to live. And it has a nice barn for their equipment, a pond and a shed, as well as the 2-car garage. So from that, okay, there it is. You can see what we platted about a year and a half ago, as Stuart referenced, the red brick house you'll see in this location. And having a 3-acre minimum for a lot, that's just barely over 3 acres. And then with frontage on Powell Road, we said, well, from a minor subdivision process, you can have 3 lots. So we platted that as a lot. And then we had this 18 acres, which was what was left from this process. And we thank you for the variance given by this board then for 100 feet of frontage to allow that to be platted. And we really didn't have a plan for it. In fact, this land was not for sale at the time that the Schultz family approached me for it. But I said, well, if you want to have some access from the north, that would be fine. This image is helpful to understand where this land lies. This is a drone photo. And this lot 3A is the 6 acres that the Schultz family is interested in buying. And it's a very scenic place. I think it's one of the highest hills in Independence. And it has a gorgeous view, as you saw from the pictures that Brian had presented. It's important to know that on this hilltop for decades, the access has been that driveway up Powell Road, as that you saw. And then there's a farm road that goes for at least half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile, as often roads do on the ridge. And the access into the fields from both sides for the farmers has been along this road. There used to be a house up in here as well. And it's not an area that's particularly easy to get to because of the significant rise in elevation. I think it's 40 or 50 feet from this point down here to come up the hill to the top of the hill. And this road comes up from Powell Road at the crest of Powell Road, then further rises in elevation to get to the crest, which is in this area that's here now. So we created this lot 2 for the red brick house to be sold to the family that does our landscape work. And then lot 1 we platted because it had frontage. And then lot 3 was whatever was left, thinking that in the future there might be some development patterns that would come along. Ted Cox and his family own this 53 acres. You'll see it's been scraped off for the dirt. The fly ash ponds next to the Independence Flower Plant, they needed to fill in with some dirt, and they found the dirt to do that from here. And Mr. Cox and his family are going to restore that land and make it better as a nice home site. Now, Brian couldn't live here because this is the Fort Osage School District. This is the School District of Independence. And so this line is the boundary between the 2 different school districts, which is why they approached me. So you can see here just the overlay of that historical road that runs along the north edge of that property. It's been there quite a long time. It's paved or gravel in this area, and there used to be some more gravel here. This is where the Rodmacher group scraped off the dirt to fill in the fly ash ponds. This is the land in general. If you follow the power lines from this end over to Jones Road, that's about a mile. From the building site that the Schultz family wants to use, it's over 3,000 feet to hit Jones Road, and the topography wouldn't be really suitable to run an access there. So for this area, access needs to come from Powell Road. The height raise I talked about goes up. You actually go down. Oh, I'm sorry. You need to go back a slide. You need to go down 30 or 40 feet, then come back up 40 or 50 feet to come to the top of the hill. So there's a significant drop until there's a rise. So the access, as it has been for decades, is on this farm road to get up to the top of this hill and go east and west from that point. In terms of development patterns, it's important to conceptualize what's happening in the neighborhood. And this site, the 6 acres, is outlined in red. And large acreage residential is the pattern around here. I've drawn circles where existing large acreage residential exists. But because of unavailability of sewer infrastructure, because of topography, and because of the existing patterns of use, in the future, I would anticipate this is going to stay in the green areas as acreage single family. And in the future, we'll anticipate development when Jackson Drive is constructed through this area. The major street plan of Independence calls for this to be a major arterial road. And from each side of that major arterial road, there will be development of neighborhoods in the future, but that's not anticipated to occur for some time. And even at that point, because of some significant ditches that traverse the property north to south, this will probably stay large lot residential for some time. And then in terms of the comments to the staff report, the first point raised was about variance from conditions which are unique to the subject property that are not ordinarily found in the same zoning district and are not the result of the owner's intentional action. Staff points out, this is factually true, that the boundaries or street frontage for lot 3 are the result of the owner's intentional action when the lot was platted in 2019. But I would suggest that the tangible issue is that this hilltop topography, which has historically been accessed from the farm road, and the location within a very large agricultural area where it's a mile from one road to the next, is the unique nature or attributes that have created this need. So lot 3 was platted to accommodate the sale of the red brick house, and it was fully contemplated in 2019 that some future subdivision would be required for a larger area that would include lot 3. It was what was left over. It didn't say, well, this is going to be a residential lot someday. It's like, well, we have to do a minor subdivision. This is what's left. And the owner didn't create the topography that, or the historical character of the area, which limits the options for access. There's just not many ways to get to that hilltop. Number 3 in the staff report, requiring strict compliance with subject zoning regulation will constitute a practical difficulty for the subject property owner. And the answer from staff is no, because lot 3 could be sold in its current configuration without requiring this variance. I want to point out that the highest quality development for this area along Powell Road, which has a number of development challenges, will be achieved through large acreage development. And I've noted the significant drop in elevation going north to south on lot 3 means the land would best be used by having a lot or a house at the top of the hill that you could access from the north on the old farm road, and a lot or house on a lot on the south side that would be accessed from the east, because you wouldn't have to have too much rise or fall to get to the house. And this practical difficulty in having the driveway drop 30 or 40 feet before climbing back to the north 40 or 50 feet is the practical difficulty that's there. This problem isn't present with the farm road, which is why it's been used for accessing the property for decades now. And the 5th item on the staff report is the alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property. And it's pointed out, this was because of the lot not having a minimum lot frontage standard. But I would say it's not really created by me. It's just responding to land. Neither I or the Schultz family created the topography or determined historical character of the area, which limits these options for access. And by responding to the land, we have to just look at the reality. This is a hilltop. It's not easy to get to. It's within a very large acreage on the northeast corner of it. And it's just not easy to get there. And the way that it's been accessed from the past is this farm road. And it would be a hardship to require the dedication and construction of a public street to serve 1 or 2 houses on large acreages, when a private driveway across an easement that's already been there for decades is sufficient to provide the access. It's just not possible to have 240 feet of frontage along Powell Road, because we have hundreds of acres. We just can't carve up the land that way when there's hundreds of acres to be accessed. And so this is, I think, a reasonable alternative. So in closing, why approve this application? My first point is this is the best option for development. If you go up Powell Road, you'll pass the power plant, some industrial uses, rock crushing operation. It's a narrow road. It has horizontal and vertical curves. It's not easy to get up the top of the road. And when you are at the top of the road, there's the trailer park on the other side. And there are just not a lot of good options for quality development. And large acreage residential development will bring desirable development where it probably wouldn't come from another use. And so we should encourage this approach to improve area quality and tax base. Secondly, I would say, the landowners on all 4 sides support it and are willing to provide the needed easements. I'm the landowner on 3 sides, and the Cox family, who are good friends with the Schultzes, are the landowners on the 4th side, and we all want it to happen. And there's a lot of buffer between the 6 acres and anybody else. And lastly, there's no detriment. There's no material reason to not approve the application. Other lots have been improved in the area with no road frontage, and a home off the beaten path on a beautiful hilltop is a highly desirable development and will retain its value. This is just one example of within, I think, half a mile of this spot, maybe quarter mile. This is the White Hawk Meadows subdivision that was approved not too many years ago. I was involved as legal counsel for this. And you can see just in the corner, the only road frontage for these lots is this corner of North Powell Road. And through private easements, there are 3 building lots on acreages. And it's turned out to be a very nice development. And it reflects the quality area. This is what the area is like. This is what you do in this rural part of Independence for some nice development that provides nice homes. This is the picture just again to summarize things we talked about. The historic access for this area comes up this farm road. And the easement would be provided by the Cox family here and by myself for the north-south portion. This is practically the best access to get to this hilltop. It'll provide a lovely building site. And in the future, we would anticipate that there'll be at least 4 large lot homes, one on lot 2 that exists, one on lot 1 when it sells at some point, the Cox family home, and the Schultz family home. And it's still unknown what will happen to 3B, but it could be a very nice site for someone else to build a home too. And this is good, desirable development. It'll be high value homes that hold their value over time and provide nice tax base. So I would simply encourage the commission to please approve this. I think that we would be proud of it when it's done. And so I will try and stop the screen sharing if I can figure out how to do that. Maybe this is it. There it goes. And that's the end of my comments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pratt. That was a very well presented presentation. You might consider a career in the legal profession. I'm sorry.
That's fine, bro. Good fun.
Okay. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak in favor of this variance? Anybody wish to speak in opposition to this variance request? Okay. Any other questions of the fellow commissioners of the applicant? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Anybody have any comments? Let's see, is everybody here? John? Okay.
Well, I think I'm ready to vote. I think anything to improve that area out there is well worth giving a variance to.
I think that all of the review criteria were handled very well. The argument about the owner was not the creator of topography is one I have not heard before. That's a good one. Do I have a motion?
Well, I'll move that we approve this 21-999-03 variance to the minimum frontage standard for the approximate 304 South Powell Road, and ask the question. I don't see, the guy we had to go after. One of our board members.
Mr. Lehman?
Yeah. I don't see him up here. He was.
Mr. Lehman, are you there?
No.
He was on the screen before.
Yes, he was.
Well, hang on just a minute. I'll try to call him again.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we could get a second and then we'll be ready for him.
Yes. No, do I hear a second?
Mr. Davies, you are the motion maker?
Yes, I am. And
Do
I
we
think
have a
Eric
second?
Crossley said yes, but he turned off his mic.
Crossley, okay.
Aaron, you're muted. Can you turn your mic on? Thank you. Can't
Okay,
hear you.
let me see if I can reach Mr. Lehman.
I'll second the motion.
No, I think Mr. Crossley did.
Oh, he did. Okay. I'm not a lip reader.
I thought he did.
He did, but I don't think he's got his mic turned up.
He was unmuted, but we couldn't hear him. Can't hear you.
I see your mouth moving, Aaron, but I don't hear you.
Oh, there we go. I was muted on my
There you
phone,
go.
but not on the computer. Sorry, yes, I seconded in the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Lehman, you're back on.
Let's see.
Oh, did you hear the presentation? Okay, do you feel comfortable that you could vote on this case, that enough information has been provided? Well, we have a motion by Mr. Davies to approve and then a second by Mr. Crossley. Oh, okay, well, if we're ready, Mr. Brown, I've got him on the phone here and he says that he is ready to vote. If I can go down the list and call for the call roll.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Board Member Crossley?
Yes.
Board Member Lehman? Board Member Davies?
Yes.
And Acting Chairman Brown?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lehman, can you just hang on to the phone here and we'll go on to the last case. All right. Hang on here. I'm going to put you on speaker.
Okay, the last case is going to be me doing that one. So, Brian back.
Okay. Do we need to take a break? Is everybody okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, case number 21999-04. Brian?
Yep, I'm working on this.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
It's too bad. Go to meeting doesn't have the ability to have backgrounds on the screen. I've got a green screen, and I had some pretty cool backgrounds. I prefer Zoom.
Okay. There we go. Can everybody see this?
No, you have just.
No.
You can't see this?
Can you minimize the people and maximize your?
Can you see this now?
No.
Dude. Let's see. Let me share again. I'm not shared on any of it. Maybe you can just turn that off. Really share it. There it is. Okay, here we go.
You got it.
You see that? Now. Okay, okay, what about this?
Here we go.
You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the applicant, Kansas City Sign Company, Representative Lee Mendenhall, has applied for a permit for a new sign cabinet to be placed on existing pole sign for Continental Siding that had been denied by zoning. The request was to install a larger trapezoid-shaped cabinet in place of the smaller existing 140 square foot rectangular cabinet. The existing pole sign was already legal non-conforming, being a pole sign located in a portion of Independence that prohibits pole signs. The removal of the existing cabinet from the existing pole means that the pole sign will lose its legal non-conforming status. Therefore, to install a new cabinet, we require a variance to reestablish a pole sign in a location that now prohibits pole signs. The new trapezoid-shaped cabinet would be 202.45 square feet in area, which is 102.45 square feet more than is permitted by code. It should be noted that the monument signs, if that were to be put there, would, given the size he's wishing to put up, would still require a variance of about 82 square feet. In short, the applicant is requesting two variances. A variance to permit a pole sign in the area south of I-70, and a variance for the pole signs cabinet, which will exceed the allowable square footage by 102.45 square feet. Okay, so what this is going to require is two votes, because we have essentially two variances about two different issues: the having a pole sign and the area of the replacement cabinet. The yeses and the nos were the same for both of them. Staff saw it meeting three of the criteria, and the two variances not meeting the other three. So I'll go through the pictures real quick. So this is an aerial of Continental Siding. You can see the days in off to the
east.
Off to the east there. This is the proposed sign on the left, and the existing sign as it is now on the right. So they would keep the same pole. So in essence, they're not asking for a new pole sign, but according to our code, it's considered a new pole sign because you've removed the cabinet. So in a technical sense, it's a new pole sign for code, but actually it's already been there. Okay, this is the perspectives they provided, these photos. You can see the existing signs in the area, some of the pole signs. But the important thing to note is you note how everything's way high up on the embankment. The road is a lot lower. So this is my drive-by. You can see the existing sign. So the pole sign is very high, even with the 25 feet because of that hillside. And this is looking directly west at it. And this is the neighbor, which has a monument sign and was recently put up a few years ago. And you can see how they built up the embankment in order to have that monument sign to meet the code requirement. And this I took from down low so you could see how steep that hillside is and how far up the hill the sign is. So ready to take any questions you may have.
We have a chance to myself or Alex have a chance to review anything.
Roy, your microphone isn't on.
We need volume.
Okay, is that better?
That's good.
Okay, will the applicant please state your name and address and then give us your reasoning?
My name is Lee Mendenhall. My address is 8248 Northwest 101st.
Can you turn up your volume?
Yeah, I'll try to. I had to go to a different computer because my computer ran out of energy. I apologize for that. My laptop.
We can barely hear you.
That any better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get as close as I can. I apologize. My other laptop ran out of power. My name is Lee Mendenhall. I'm with the Kansas City Sign Company. Our address is 8248 Northwest 101st Terrace, number 13, Kansas City, Missouri, 64153.
Would you explain your reasoning for this variance, your point of view?
Yeah. First off, I think it's a replacement of an existing sign that, and we're using the existing, pullbacks. Over the past year, Continental Sidings has made numerous improvements to the building on that I-70 facing front. From painting the building to doing landscaping to other building signs, and then just general cleanup along the fence line. And this is kind of the final piece to the improvement on that side, updating their process. Number three is the sign is larger to accommodate a new logo. The bottom of the sign remains the size. The sign is only going to be 8 inches higher than the existing sign. And really what it is, it's the new trapezoid design that has the flare out shape, which accounts for the size increase. And the current sign is currently 140 square feet. And the new sign will be, just over 202 square feet. And then I think the final piece is, it goes back to visibility and, from the road and some of the topography. You have a railroad bridge to the east.
Mr. Mendenhall, would
Yes.
you wait for just a moment? John, would you mute your mic? And Alec,
sure will.
Everybody should mute their mic because we're getting some interference here. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. And, to the east, there's a railroad bridge that blocks visibility. And then also to the west, there's the Nolan Road Bridge intersection that, Continental Siding sits kind of in the middle between those obstacles. And this sign will help create more visibility for the business. That's got my recap. I'll take questions, or would like to turn it over to Alec as well too.
Yeah, if I could, am I allowed to speak as well?
Yes, I guess.
Okay. Thank you. I'm the business owner there at Continental Siding. I will sort of restate some of the information because that was pretty hard to hear. Lee, is everyone hearing me okay?
Yeah, Alec, can you
Yes.
please give your name and address, please?
Alex Cook, am I giving you my home address or my business address?
Business is fine.
It's fine.
Okay, 13714 East 42nd Terrace, South in Independence, Missouri 64055. You already knew that part. Okay. So again, he was hard to hear a little bit, but I'll run through it as quick as I can. I know it's getting late, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. We have spent over the last several years a lot of time, effort, money, and resources cleaning up the highway side of the building. I view this as the frontage and the visibility from I-70 as the main reason to even be in that building and right there. I-70 traffic visibility and being a long-term occupant of that building is something that's really good for us as a business. However, a new paint job on the building, tearing down trees and bushes, and actually somehow over the course of 18 months convinced MoDOT to come in and actually put a brand new fence in along our property and the neighboring property on either side of us, just because we were trying to do our part to kind of clean up the highway and just make it look a lot better. And boy, it really does look a lot better. We're doing all these things because we're good citizens, but we're also doing it because we need people to know where we are. And we put a lot of new sign cabinets and channel letter signs on the building, cleaned it up. We've done everything we possibly can to be more visible. And I still talk to people every day, even people that are in our building, and they didn't know where we were. Our location should be something well known to the community and to the public, and it's just not. And I can speculate as to why. I think it's because of the two bridges. You're really sandwiched in between that railroad bridge to the west and Nolan Road to the east. That big protective fence, barrier on the Nolan Road one keeps you from seeing through it. Obviously, I'm in favor of that. I've lived in Independence my whole life. I love the improvement, but it does create that issue where we are far less visible. And I just think, with the new uplighting that we've done, where we put the Chiefs colors on the building on Chiefs Day, and we put the American flag colors up there all the other times, we're trying our best to get people to see us and know where we are. And this is the only thing we haven't done yet. This is going to help us. And the other reason since it is an existing sign and we're simply asking for a different shape and a little larger size, I don't know that this causes any harm to the city or to its residents or to anyone. So if it doesn't cause harm and we're willing to make the monetary investment into making the building look nicer and hopefully create a thriving business that we can all make a living from for a long time, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, why you guys wouldn't approve it. But obviously I respect your all's opinion on the subject and will be willing to answer any other questions you have too.
From the pictures, I think the comment was made that your sign is fairly high. Do you think that has an impact on visibility because it is quite high now?
No, I don't think that hurts us because we're trying to be seen far enough away where people would know where we are. The problem is it's, I don't mean to trivialize it, but the word continental is a long word. And like you look at Days Inn and you're looking at just a few letters, that those are going to be very visible. The word continental is a long word, and we've recently reconfigured our logo. You can even see it right here. The old logo, if you can look at the screen, is this bottom one right here. So we used to arch that word seamless up above it, which fit this particular pole sign you're looking at. Now we've switched it to where continental siding is on the top. And that's why we need to make this sign larger on the top so we can actually read the word. And we can't read it right now. And I think if someone was trying to see it. So we've, and again, when I mean we've gone to every length we can to not have to do this, I mean it, because we even put new vinyl lettering on the existing sign and had to scrunch it down a lot, and you just can't read it. You just don't know that that's us right there. So at the picture to the right, that's on the screen right there, that's us trying to fit a new logo onto the existing pole sign. And the one to the left is us actually making a sign that would fit the logo properly to where people could actually see it and know that that's us. So it's actually the same width at the bottom of the sign, and it's only 8 inches taller. So all we did is it's the same exact width. We just angled out from there to make that trapezoid shape.
Did you try a different configuration on the letters for Continental? For example, having it higher and lowering the siding logo below so that you had a little bit more room there? I mean, I'm just wondering about visibility. If there's a way you could.
Go ahead.
No, I just wonder if there's a way you could use the existing sign with taller letters and drop the bottom portion of the sign a bit and not have to change the sign. Have you considered that with your sign guy?
Yes. So this old logo here, this seamless underneath of it, anytime you transition a business from one to the other, I mean, you might remember when Kinko's was on Nolan Road and they needed to change over to FedEx office. They at first went and for several years they called it FedEx Kinko's. So in the middle of transitioning from an old logo that's old and tested and true and trusted, we needed to not completely get rid of it. We needed to keep this kind of unique shape about it so that people could recognize it from television and know that that was us over there. So taking and splitting that sign such that the word siding is all the way at the bottom would eliminate the seamless part of it, which is the unique aspect of our product. So we did try, and the arch of the existing sign that we have was custom made to fit this arched seamless. And again, it worked, but we've just done a complete branding rehaul too. So we're talking 50 trucks, all the company apparel of all of our representatives. Every single thing we've done has been transitioning from the old logo to the new one, website and everything. So we did try our best to make this current sign work, but I just don't think it is. I think it's a missing piece, and I'd love to spruce it up and make it work better for our business and the city.
Right. Can you all hear me better now? Okay. Thank you. Roy, to answer your question as well too, if you look at the current sign, you see Continental, and again, it's pretty, quite frankly, you can't make the letters any taller because the sign is only so wide and it's scrunched. And right now Continental is scrunched somewhat on there anyway. Also, you'll see that there's some, nice on the new version, some negative space or that white border around it that just makes the sign easier for people to read going along I-70.
there. I'm not trying to tell you how to design your sign. That's not my purpose. I'm just, I know that you can stretch the letters a little bit in height, and you could take your seamless on the new sign like it is and put it over on the right. I'm just, we have to figure out a way to satisfy these criteria that are listed with 6 criteria. So that's something that we might want you to address if you have that lead. But let's pause it there for a minute. I'm wondering if anybody else has any questions.
This is Aaron. I have no other questions.
Okay. John, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, except I don't see Jack Lehman up here again.
He's on the phone, I think, with Brian.
Okay, good.
Is Brian, wait a minute, where's Brian?
He's lost too.
I unmuted. You can speak, John.
Okay,
John.
thank you.
John, you can speak now.
Okay.
I mean, Jack, I'm sorry. I'm getting names confused. Jack, you can speak now. I turned my mic on.
I don't have any mic, no. I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I had to turn my mic on. He's talking through my computer. Do you hear Jack?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I'm just listening to Roy.
Okay, I'm getting a phone in my office. I'm gonna try to mute that here. Okay. Does anybody else wish to speak in favor of this application? Does anybody else wish to speak in opposition to this application? Okay. So do you gentlemen have the review criteria? This is what we have to answer. And, you know, you are kind of, I realize you're grandfathered in or legal non-conforming technically, but we have to look at precedents here too. Brian, I have a question for you. Are there any other legal non-conforming pole signs in that area?
Oh, there's many.
Okay.
And most of them along the road are illegal non-conforming. The only conforming sign is Days Inn.
Okay. Yeah, I know who did that swimming pool and all that too. But anyway, okay, you guys want to address these comments that, you know, for example, number 1, the requested variance arises from conditions which are unique to the subject property.
You know, one of our pieces with this is that, you know, what is unique with this is from the standpoint, okay, in the area, there are a lot of signs that are already non-conforming. And again, the existing sign is a variance permitted sign as well too. From the standpoint of the conditions, it's also, you know, this issue with visibility from the highway, and that again, it's not where that was created by the property owner to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think the uniqueness of it is the fact that we're sandwiched between, when you're driving down the highway at 65 miles an hour, you don't get a very good shot, visible shot at looking at that sign and enough to see it. If you go down the road 3 miles, you can see one of our competitors in Blue Springs, and there's just nothing in the way. They've got open landscape. They've got signs that are allowed on their building. You can drive by and know the products they offer. Siding, windows, and sunrooms prominently displayed very close to the highway. And they're also allowed a pole sign that has their logo. And again, this is competition. This is real life. It's business. And I would like just appreciate the consideration that we're at a competitive disadvantage with the neighboring company who's only in the next city. And I didn't put the bridges there. You didn't put the bridges there. I mean, we all know that, but it does really give us a very quick snapshot of a time when you can actually drive by there safely and see it. So if we can poke that sign up a little bit higher, like we have, one of those pictures shows you, we could get visibility beyond the bridges. So you could see it on the oncoming side. And I just think that that's going to help us be seen again, and give us at least level the playing field with Blue Springs. Blue Springs has allowed Blue Springs Siding and Windows to have very nice signage right there. And I just think this is something we could get. The unique nature is that we're sandwiched between two bridges, and it's just not enough time to see it. And this will help us see it beyond on the other side of those bridges.
Just for clarification, Brian, they're asking for a height on the pole as well as the size?
No, no.
They're not
no
for a change in height?
No.
Just
they meet a height requirement for a pole. When this pole sign was put up, of course, was before the previous, before the UDO. The UDO is what prevented pole signs south of I-70.
Right.
Okay. And so, and under our definition of what a pole sign is, when the cabinet comes down, the pole loses its grandfathering. So because they have to do a new cabinet to make the trapezoid, that's what is why it's a new pole sign. Then also, because the trapezoid is bigger than the existing cabinet, that's why we have the second variance for the sign area. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, just want to make sure we all understood. So the new cabinet, Mr. Mendenhall, is not going to be any larger than the previous cabinet.
No,
the pole cabinet remains the same. Now the cabinet on top of the sign, it's the same size on the bottom. It will be.
I got that.
Okay, but then because of the flare out, it's going to be a larger sign face because of the new shape.
Now, would you address the fact that a monument sign, staff says, can be easily seen? Can you address that? Number 3, requiring strict compliance to the subject zoning regulation constitute a practical difficulty for the subject property owners. Would you answer that?
I'll do my best. Go ahead, Alec. Were you going to?
Yeah, I can, because again, we're trying to be seen with better visibility, even on the other side of the bridges, such that people know what they're coming up on. That's not going to allow us to do it being lower, right in line of the bridges. And also, we're competing with line of sight, even with the days end sign. You know, we then are competing in space. So right now we're up there high enough such that the storage facility next to us is so in the corner, it's not competing any more than the bridge is. So if we can keep our airspace that we've got is non-competing, and that is helpful, especially if the cabinet is that 8 inches higher and the word is so much more visible, people will know that that's Continental Siding all the way up and down I-70 was what I would hope. So I don't think the other sign, the monument sign, is a good option for us. I don't think it solves the problems.
Okay. So your unique situation involves the bridges and competition that does not have the restrictions that you would have.
Yeah, Blue Spring, right down the road in Blue Springs, they don't have those limitations.
Right.
And well, and again, they just don't have the topography. They don't have the bridges. I mean, it's just clear, wide open space. And I know for a fact we do a nicer job taking care of people than they do. So I'd like to make sure those people know where we are.
Well, I would hope so. You're right here in Independence.
Well, let's let people know.
Uh-huh. All right. Any other questions from board members?
I don't have any, Stuart. Jack Clayton.
Okay, Aaron?
It seems pretty straightforward. I have no other questions. Thank you.
John?
No, I don't have any other questions. I pretty well understand it.
Okay, well, we'll just close the public hearing and let's take it up here. Well, it's not up here anymore. It's just us on the screen. At first, I wasn't sure. When I saw that, I actually kind of like the old sign, but I think that I'm recognizing the disadvantage that they have, and that they've answered some of the criteria. I'm not opposed to this. Let's hear from the rest of you guys.
Well, I'm not opposed to it either. Perhaps we should get a motion on the floor.
Okay.
Remember, you have two motions you have to do. You have
Yeah,
two votes, two variances.
Yeah, I thought about somebody else.
Okay, so we've got a little feedback there.
It's gone.
So with regard the first variance is that the one with the increase in size?
No, that is the having a pole sign.
Okay. Keeping the pole sign, that's the first variance. Okay.
Yes.
So do we have a motion on that?
I move we approve the first variances, which keeping the pole sign.
Okay. Is there a second?
Who moved? Davies? Okay.
This
Okay.
is Jack Clayton. I approve.
Jack, second.
Oh, Jack seconds. Okay. So I'll call the roll. Mr. Davies?
Yes.
Mr. Crosley?
Yes.
Mr. Lehman?
Yes.
And I too will vote yes. So the first motion, first variance has passed. The second variance has to do with the size of the sign and the height. Is that correct?
No, just the size, the square footage.
Square footage, the size. Okay. I have a motion.
I make a motion to approve Jack Clayton.
Okay. Is there a second?
This is Aaron Crosby. I second.
Okay. So I'll call the roll. Mr. Davies?
Yes.
Mr. Crosley?
Yes.
Mr. Lehman?
Yes.
And I too will vote yes. So that has been approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Is there any more business? Was our last meeting in December?
Yes, and we have minutes to approve from December.
Oh, gosh.
I make a motion we approve the minutes for December.
Let's see. I was there. I guess I will second it. Wait a minute, Aaron, you were there. Were you? Yeah, you were there.
Yeah. Yes, I was there.
Okay. All right.
I
So
second that.
okay. Very good. So all in favor of approval of those minutes. You can't raise your hand. Just say yes. I'll say yes.
Yeah.
And I say yes.
Okay, that's 4 yeses. I think that's all we need. So is there any other business, Brian?
No, none.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We shall close the meeting.
At 9:01.
At 9:01.
Gosh, long meeting.
Yeah.
Hey, I was on mute. I just wanted to say thank you all for your time tonight and having a chance to speak with you all and work with you on this project.
Well, we like to support independent businesses.
Well, thank you for doing it. And people say that sometimes, but then, you know, when the opportunity arises, they don't take it, and you guys did. So I really appreciate it. I know it's a big decision to make. You guys have got a lot of things to consider that maybe we don't know to consider. So I just appreciate you doing it. And we're going to continue to try to run the business in a way that you all can be proud of. So thank you very much.
Well, staff puts up with us, and
Yes.
their job, and that's why we're here. Do our job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Good night.
Okay.
All right.
Good night, everyone.
All right.